It was just after midnight when Logan Carter heard the rattle of metal outside the garage. He was finishing up his shift, wiping grease off his hands and thinking about how he'd stretch his last paycheck to cover rent. That's when two EMTs rushed in, pushing a worn-down ambulance that refused to start. "It won't fire up," one said. "They're about to scrap it, but we've got a call across town. A cardiac arrest. We're desperate." Logan could have shrugged it off. His shift was over, and no one would have blamed him. He wasn't even technically allowed to work on city vehicles anymore. Budget cuts had pushed him out of his department months ago. Now he worked part-time at a local mechanics shop, just making ends meet. But something in their faces, the panic, the urgency, made him nod. Pop the hood. He dove in. The wiring was a mess. The battery had corrosion, and one of the fuel lines was leaking. Logan worked like a machine, focused, quick, efficient. It wasn't about pride or overtime. It was about saving whoever was waiting for that ambulance to show up. Within 20 minutes, he had the engine roaring to life. "It'll run. Don't turn it off until you get back," he warned. The EMTs didn't ask questions. They jumped in and peeled out, siren wailing into the night. Logan stood there, breathless, watching the ambulance disappear into darkness. A few minutes later, his boss stormed out of the back office. "What the hell was that?" Logan tried to explain, but the man didn't want to hear it. "You don't touch city equipment. I don't care if it was to save the president. You're done here." He was fired on the spot. No argument, no defense, just silence and a slammed door behind him. Logan gathered his jacket and toolbox, biting back frustration. He didn't regret fixing the ambulance. He just wished doing the right thing didn't always cost so much. The next morning, Logan was sitting at a diner, sipping coffee he could barely afford, wondering what to tell his landlord. He had one job interview lined up, oil changes at a chain store, and no backup plan. As he stared blankly out the window, his phone rang, an unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something told him to pick up. "Mr. Carter?" A calm, authoritative voice asked. "This is Evan Ross, CEO of Vantage Medical Systems. I need to meet you, today." Logan was caught off guard. "Is this about the ambulance?" The voice chuckled. "It's absolutely about the ambulance. Come to Vantage HQ. My assistant will meet you at the front." 2 hours later, Logan stood in a gleaming lobby, oil-stained boots looking out of place against marble floors. A sharply dressed assistant led him into a conference room where Evan Ross waited. The Billionaire CEO stood, extended his hand, and smiled. "You fixed my ambulance," he said. "I was the one inside it." Logan's eyes widened. "What?" Ross nodded. "I had a heart attack. The medics told me later they were going to scrap that ambulance until a mechanic at a garage fixed it. That was you." Logan stood in stunned silence. "I didn't know who was inside. I just knew someone needed it." Ross poured 2 coffees and sat across from him. "That decision saved my life, and that kind of heart, the kind that does the right thing even when no one's watching, is exactly what this company needs." He slid a folder across the table. "This is a job offer. Head of Emergency Fleet Maintenance, full benefits, housing support, and a 6-figure salary." Logan blinked. "This can't be real." Ross smiled. "It's very real. I want people like you in charge of saving lives, and I owe you mine." Later that night, Logan stood outside his tiny apartment, looking up at the stars. His phone buzzed with a confirmation email from Vantage. He'd gone from fired to favored in less than a day, not because he chased money, but because he chose to care. He whispered a quiet thank you to the silence around him. For the first time in years, he felt seen.